Welcome back to my huge channel, everybody. This video is first and foremost for everybody that waited for this exact season to start. For you who enjoys vitamin D, the flowers, the beach, but who's also well aware about the sacrifices all these things bring, which is your style. Your style has been hanging by a thread for the last few months. And the culprit here is not even you. It's the unstoppable course of the world. It's the star that shines at us with 6,000 degrees Celsius every day. It's the sun. And now that we see it less and less and kind of figure out that we actually need the sun to survive, we also figured out, on the other hand, that it's time to get out the good wardrobe. The one that gets us the compliments. The one with the pieces people ask for, where is that from? We no longer have to say that white t-shirt we're wearing for 8 days straight is from COS. We've been thinking of those sweaters, those coats, those boots all summer. And the time has come to finally get them out. So that's why I'm asking you today, right now. Since you're picking up your winter essentials currently, what are those pieces? If your current selection consists of a white pant, a tank top, a sweater, a coat, and some flat shoes underneath, I don't think you really improved since last year, and we need to change that today. So no shade on what you're wearing right now. I might fall in that category as well. But this is a goal and process-oriented channel, so we want to change. We want progress. We want evolution. And we have to start with it today. And one thing for sure, if you want to talk about these things on a daily basis and you're missing out on people around you that actually understand the difference between a very dark navy sweater and a black sweater, you should join the Discord, where we are so many people everywhere in the world talking about these ridiculous things every day. It's very in-depth, it's very serious sometimes, and very often it's very superficial to your friends, but it's not superficial to us, right? So join the Discord, the link is down below. You will have tons of people, everyday conversations. We even have a bi-weekly video call where we talk about fashion reviews, our own wardrobes, everything fashion related, and it's amazing. It's kind of my little paradise where I spend also personally a lot of time in. You can also feel free to join my Patreon, where I have another video every week, which is a bit more personal, about stuff I experience, stuff I dress in, stuff I want to dress in, mainly these topics and styling and all these things. And you can also subscribe to this YouTube channel. I know it's crazy. You probably don't know what YouTube is. It's just an accident that you landed here. I have an Instagram, and from today on, I even have a little website. If you care about my looks, you can check them out there. Everything is listed. Let's start with the video. So this might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I think we need a few rules just to hang by, you know, just to have a rule to sometimes look into and question our choices. And I think this could be helpful. So I wrote down a few rules that I try to stick to as well. I'm only human. I'm trying to give my best. I'm also here just for a selective time in this universe. And I'm trying to give my best and looking good in the winter. And not only looking good, because what we mean by looking good is of course reflecting our personality in the best way, and not looking mediocre, because none of us here is mediocre. So first of all, assess and declutter. And I know I've had videos before that I started with this, but decluttering is really like cleansing your mind. Imagine your makeup routine where you double cleanse your face afterwards, and you just feel refreshed, and as if everything you will put on your face afterwards will soak in and will be so efficient, and your skin will glow the next day. It's the same effect with your wardrobe. You need to get rid of the dirt. And when I say dirt, this is just a metaphor. Of course, it's just old pieces you're not wearing that still might have a value. So first of all, start with a wardrobe audit, go through your current winter clothing and assess what you truly love and wear regularly. I just did a video like this a few weeks ago on my Patreon, and honestly, I was shocked on how few items I wear regularly. It really shows you face to face, sweater versus you. You look into their eyes, you know you love these pieces, but you're just not wearing them. It's essential to know what you pick most of the times, also for your future purchases. If you just figure that you don't like tight sweaters, you don't like merino wool, you just like virgin wool, you like wool, you like cashmere, but you actually don't like merino wool, because you need to know that. And this is something you usually don't figure out when you search on Instagram for other people's styles or create a Pinterest mood board. This is something you really figure out if you dig deep into yourself, and that means checking your own closet. So try to find out what you don't like and put this stuff aside. We're not throwing anything away. So either you're a person that is very creative and can use these pieces later. I would really say try to storage these items. I know there are a lot of people out there that are extremely creative and just need a different energy, and suddenly they can feel really inspired by their old clothing and use that. That's not my personality, unfortunately, so I need to either donate these pieces or sell these pieces. And I know it doesn't sound very sustainable, but if you cannot find anybody to donate because you don't have, I don't know, maybe it's a lot of dresses and you don't have a lot of people that love dresses around you, and you know you will not be able to sell them online because it's just doesn't have a huge value, you can get rid of them also. Like either you just go to a flea market at somebody that is selling already, you give them the items and they try to sell it. That's something I did once and it really works, and people are very happy that you just bring random stuff and they sell it for €1 or $1, or you just need to throw it away. We need to be okay to throw stuff away for once and not turn this into a process that we keep repeating. So once we have everything decluttered, you might figure out some gaps. You know, there will be some sweaters in beige and in black only, for example. Maybe you need some gray, maybe you need some white. You don't need to have everything in every shade. This is something that is a bit psychotic and I think it's weird, and I don't understand people that need stuff in Bordeaux and dark green all the time. It's just colors you really need. But if you figure that you want brighter clothes and everything you own is very dark and you like dark stuff and you tend to go to dark stuff, but sometimes you also want to brighten up your look, you should maybe realize that you need to invest in one good sweater that is a brighter shade. So this is something you do essentially with your winter wardrobe, which is the pants, the outerwear, the sweaters and the shoes. Decluttered. Second point, which is the most essential piece of a winter wardrobe. Nothing is as important as this, outerwear. And one thing for sure, you need to invest in a versatile coat. A high quality warm coat is just essential, and if this doesn't exist, none of your other pieces will save you. The thickest sweater in the world, the most beautiful one, will not save your winter wardrobe if you don't have a versatile and practical and warm keeping coat, which also looks stylish, by the way. So we have a high quality warm coat, which is the essential, and I would recommend to go for timeless colors like black, camel, or gray to ensure it goes really with everything. Again, this is just something I recommend to you if we might have similar style. I don't say I'm a minimalist, but from my experience of the last 10 years in investing in coats, I just figured even if my style is sometimes eccentric and eclectic and colorful, which I like, I usually prefer a bigger coat that is a bit more quiet and brings everything down instead of having the outerwear piece as the highlight. Another reason for this is because I want to reuse my coat as often as possible and I want to wear it every day if possible. It is better to have something that looks a bit more quiet and is not as striking and not your statement piece. It's not the smartest choice to invest in a statement coat, even though I love them and I would love to have so many, and I have one or two as well. So my recommendation is just if it's your first big investment coat, you should definitely go for something that you can upgrade and downgrade, you know, that you can wear with your Essex sneakers, but also with your, I don't know, Louboutins or whatever you want to go for in the winter, if it makes sense. It's there, it's like your car, you know, it's this thing. The coat in the winter, if you don't own a car, is your public transportation. And what keeps you away from people. You're in the metro, you're stuck, you're outside in the snow, in the rain. It needs to keep you warm. It is so essential that it probably shouldn't be a bright yellow or white, but a darker shade, a natural shade that easily just adds on every look you want to create. So one other thing I would recommend for selecting outerwear is if you have your great high quality investment piece, and I call investment for according to what is your budget, of course. If you have your coat, you should also invest in a lighter inlay jacket, like a little vest, and you know Uniqlo has tons of them, and I'm sure the range is huge when it comes to little vests or down jackets, and then also to a very lightweight puffer. But in the winter sometimes we do have those moments where it just needs to be functional, even though I hate that term when it comes to fashion because functionality destroys everything. But when it comes to the cold, the weather, it's being wet, it's being everything and nasty around us, we also need something like a light puffer. It doesn't have to be a huge investment. I would still always focus on the coat. That's what's going to make you look elegant or interesting, or where you can really focus on design. And the puffer is more like the functional piece, but there are also very interesting pieces that are not very generic. I will try to link stuff down below, but these are the three kind of jackets you need. It's a good coat, it's an inlay, and it's a puffer. So, and here is a little tiny star comment. If you have the budget, you know, you can go wild, you want to go wild, you're ready for it, you've been waiting for this, this is your season, you can invest in a statement coat. I would still recommend you to keep the colors muted, but go for something that has an interesting silhouette. That's very striking already. You can still wear it a bit more often than when you have a eclectic, native, I don't know, colorful pattern that is beautiful to look at, but probably just 5 times until you will feel bored by it. So go for a statement coat, a crazy silhouette, but still try to keep the colors muted. The third point, and I'm going here also according to the price strategy. So we started with the most expensive investment and we're going lower and lower, and something that is easily overlooked in the prices, for example, because I find them pretty expensive oftentimes, are high quality basics. You need to prioritize warm basics. For example, number 1 is quality knitwear. You need to stock up on well-made sweaters in a variety of different weights. You should stock up on some sweaters, and I say stock up if you don't have any sweaters right now, which will not be the case, so you will just have to fill the gaps. But stock up in different weights of sweaters. Try not to have too many chunky sweaters as well. I think it's very striking. We love them. It looks cozy. You need the slim knit, you need the thicker one, you need the embroidered one. You need to have different options to create different looks in the winter wardrobe. Usually what I tend to go for is the thickness. So for example, if I have one very thick cardigan already, I will not try to buy a second thick one because I don't need them in several colors. I don't think it's necessary. But it would be nice, for example, to have a thinner one that can even work like a blouson or something. So try to have kind of the 2 or 3 different weights possible for sweaters. And of course, I would always recommend to take cashmere and wool. Try to select just different sweaters in different weights. Another point that I actually don't really have to mention because it's just like mental human smartness to know that you need some thermal layers as well. And I know Uniqlo Heat Tech is the most famous one, but I know there are quality differences and there are many other brands out there as well. So you should have a good pair of leggings, a tank top or the long sleeve thermal layers just to keep yourself warm and to feel more comfortable. And then you can also layer a few more pieces. Like key of this whole rule strategy thing is also to be able to layer stuff you've not been layering, like your very thin sweater. And I know this is for a lot of people common sense, but we do this video for everybody that just wants to have it top of mind again. Because sometimes you can wear, for example, my polo shirt, which is short arm. I decide to wear it now with thermal layers or like a long sleeve underneath, which I think is pretty cute. And then I can reuse my summer polo shirt also in the winter. And I think that's key and essential. I don't want to have a summer and winter wardrobe only in my closet. I want to have a stream of everything together and I can wear everything all the time. You cannot do that with all pieces, obviously. And I think the bigger the correlation, the better. And of course, if you know me, you know this is also another very essential point in speaking about winter wardrobes, but this is also, in my case, also for some other case, warm bottoms. You need versatile pants. And when I say versatile, I don't mean your cargos that you can readjust in different sizes and whatever. Again, I mean pieces that you can easily wear all the time. I'm not gonna lie, I have 3 Jazanda pants. These Jazanda pants follow me for the last 3 years and are my essential pants and go with every sweater that I own. And I don't say this is gold, but this sounds like golds to me. So be careful in selecting. And I say you should invest again in great pants because I've seen, again, because I've been doing this thing for some years now, investing in great wool pants in the winter is so essential and important. And if you come from a bit colder state, it also makes sense because you will be wearing these also 8 months out of 12, which is pretty sad, but unfortunately that's the case in Europe usually. And one thing for sure, wool pants is something you can very easily shop secondhand and get adjusted. They usually fit even better because currently the high-waisted pants we see everywhere is not my thing. If it's your aesthetic, that's great for you. I just struggle shopping new pants. And that's why you can just get like a pant that is one size too big and naturally it drops a bit, it's a low waist, and then you can get it adjusted and it fits perfectly. And you don't spend so much money and it's sustainable and it just looks good. I think when you have all of these pieces, like a good pant, a good sweater, a good coat, we can kind of start to think of the slightly a bit more unnecessary things, but that are elevating your look a lot. And again, I have a whole Patreon video on how to do that. Accessorize your look. And I think when I say accessorize, a lot of people might immediately think of jewelry, which is amazing as well. I'm not a pro in jewelry. You can do a lot with jewelry. But in the winter, we're of course speaking about accessories that might keep you warm also. So I'm speaking about hats, gloves, socks, and scarves. And here, and this is another favorite part of mine, I would recommend you one thing. Go crazy. Go as crazy as you can. Don't try to think like the Joker for a second. Try to be Harlequin, you know, be a Pierrot clown, be something, be a clown for a second and be like, okay, thank you Tuba for teaching me how I look boring to buy a navy sweater, a navy coat and navy pants. Thank you for nothing. This I already knew. But this, I want you to keep in mind, this is that I'm recommending this to you. You need to go crazy here. I don't think anybody in this world needs another beige cashmere scarf. I don't think anybody needs a black wool scarf or anything like that. You might need it for functionality reasons, but you can also just have a turtleneck. This means we have enough space and some budget for some mohair scarves, some feathers, some fringes. You can add texture finally to your look, because if you follow the rules from before, you already have a warm look. So now you can go a bit nuts. You take a scarf, something that adds some texture to it. You can go insane. Look at Comme des Garçons, look at Etsy. There are so many possibilities on how to improve this look. I would absolutely recommend you to go color-wise and texture-wise and silhouette-wise crazy. When it comes to the gloves, and you know how much I love a colorful glove, go for a colorful glove. You have nothing to hide. You don't even see it so much. It's literally just an accessory. Your hands are pretty tiny. No matter how tall you are, proportionally your hands are not that big. That means your gloves will not take up so much space. You can even style it differently. You know, you can try to wrap up your coat and you see a bit more. Go for a bit longer gloves if you try to create an interesting moment sometimes, but it's definitely worth it. The number of times that you wear gloves anyway is not so high. How many days in winter are you really wearing gloves? Is it like 10 days max? Don't try to invest maybe in the most expensive pair, even though I know there are amazing ones out there. You get a great deal, then it's worth it. I would definitely recommend you to go to some turquoise, Bordeaux, yellow, orange. All these colors are beautiful contrast with the winter wardrobe. Hats, I'm not speaking about hats. You have a whole video about this. Watch my hats video right now. This is the hats embassy also. So you should be wearing 24/7 actually a hat. Socks are, I think, an amazing essential for a great and interesting winter wardrobe if you don't want to wear the same tights every day. There are also interesting tights out there. I just ordered a pack and they're amazing. But also knee-high socks. In my last post, I had these half Prada socks from 2007, I believe, which are insane. So you can really create some excitement with the socks. You can layer your socks. If you are in the Discord, you know we have Garrett in there, who is the advocate of socks layering. So you can learn on the Discord also a lot, by the way, because people are very creative and showcase that, and we can benefit of it, and that's amazing. But you can also add embroideries, textures, something, you know, go for mohair socks. If you have something silky, if you have something draped and in a very shiny fabric, you can go for something like very bulky and mohairy, and, you know, something that has a very contrary texture and definitely increase the excitement of your look, and it will just look amazing. So the last piece we need to be able to get outside the door is footwear. So again, as a person that hates functionality because I always feel restricted in my life with functionality, and rain and the cold are this kind of restriction to me, you need a good pair of a boot. And I know there are cool boots out there, they're everywhere, they're all kinds, but go again and have a look. All the good boots are not practical. They're either too high or too slim or too fragile. You don't have everything in a boot. So I always recommend to have two good boots. One for the nasty days, which is a bulky, I don't know, a motorcycle boot, a cowboy boot, whatever you would like to go for. And something where you might not slid, fall down, break a leg. You need this essential piece. And there are good ones out there as well. I will try to have a look again. Also, stuff like this you will find on my website, where I will keep recommending things. So if you want to, you can check that out. But down here, I will try to find one or two pieces for different budgets as well. Also, for the more chic version or the more elevated version, however you like to describe your personal upgraded style, I would still recommend something with a thick sole, something that is not super tight, something that you can wear with thicker socks. It will change your life. You will feel pretty, you will feel like the best human in the world, but you will feel extremely comfortable and still very well in your look. And a little tip here as well, consider some insoles. It can change your life when it comes to some very elegant shoes. Just saying, insoles can be very helpful to increase the heat, the warmth in your shoe, and also the comfort, because some leather shoes are just very uncomfortable. So one last point, and I know that a lot of people don't consider this a part of the look, but to me it's a very essential and maybe one of the most influential parts of the look. It's hair and makeup, and this refers to everybody. If it's your beard, if it's your short hair, your long hair, whatever it is. I think it's essential to complete a look, to create the energy you want to create, to fulfill this whole idea of the aesthetic you're trying to create. And since you invested so much in all these pieces, deciding to not have any makeup or hair is also a decision which is very striking and cool. But if it's not, you can also experiment a lot. I don't know why, probably also because of the heat, because it's just not very comfortable to wear makeup in the summer. But I love to experiment in the winter even more. I also think the lack of sunlight is making the faces look a bit more interesting because it's brighter. So once some light shines on your face, I don't know, you see your eyeshadow more, you see your lipstick more, you see your nails more, whatever it is. I think everything is a bit more interesting. I think even jewelry is more striking because in the dark, of course, jewelry is always a bit more striking than in the basic sunlight. Yes, I just called sunlight basic. Sunlight is basic. We need to embrace the darkness because that's our best friend now. So if you dare to, I would really recommend go for the blue eyeshadow. The very, very striking blue one. Go for the red. Go for the pink. Something very bold. It doesn't have to be beautifully attached. I think currently we also even have the trend, and that's something I always loved. Go very rough, you know, take those fingers, put them in the eyeshadow pot and just on your face. You know, it can look very brutal. It can look very raw, but I think that's very artistic and makes it even more interesting. And I think that's something you can really experiment with, like especially since it's winter and we're a bit less colorful usually. Great for you if you're a very colorful person, but a lot of people have that deficit of not being super colorful. So adding that to your face is kind of a good compromise. I think adding that to your handbag, your gloves and face is a beautiful play within all these textures and densities and weights and different fabrics, that it brings a bit of a joy back, a bit childishness and craziness, and we always aim for craziness. So these are kind of my rules I try to live by, and that's why I recommended them to you, and I hope that's fine and that's okay for you. And especially if you like to get inspired by people like you and me on the streets, dressing every day and get inspired by these people, you should definitely join the Discord. The links are down below. You should watch my Patreon videos where I'll even have a bit more time to show everything in detail and how I think styling can be a bit more easy, a bit less heavy, and a constant part of our personal evolvement when it comes to personal style. I think this can be helpful, and of course don't forget to subscribe to this channel, please, and follow me on Instagram if you like to see a bit more of this, or check my website if you do want some recommendations. See you to the next one.